One thing that I think is so very charming, I guess, about the asexual community as a movement is that we are still such a grassroots type movement, about, as grassrootsy as it can really get for an online community. So much of our visibility comes from word of mouth. And that is what I want to talk about today with visibility, is word of mouth. Visibility through word of mouth. There is an undeniably amazing power behind conversation. Individuals talking to individuals, sharing experiences, thoughts, feelings. That is what is so effective about word of mouth, is that it's you can make word of mouth so personal. It's a lot easier to make word of mouth more personal than any other form of visibility. Media coverage, that's amazing. I'm so glad that we have enough visibility where the media is interested in sharing asexuality to the world and bringing it closer, more to society, but letting people know about it. That's amazing. But I hope word of mouth never stops. That's by far my favorite way of going about visibility. I love having conversations with people. I love telling people about it. Not just in relationship to myself, but in relationship to the community. I think it's so effective when you can bring in your own stories and your own experiences and your own feelings. It gives it, it really gives it that personal touch where people can't just be like, they could, but they can't ignore it so easily. They can't brush it off so easily, because when you talk about it one-on-one with an individual, you're sharing a part of yourself. You're really putting yourself out there. You're bringing a human aspect to it, and it's harder. I think it's really harder for people to ignore things when the individual human aspect, person in person, is brought into it. Think about it. Where would asexuality really be as a movement, as a community, without word of mouth? Would we have ever gotten the media coverage that we have gotten so far without it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Would the community, wouldn't it be nearly as large as it is? How many of you out there heard about asexuality through word of mouth, through another individual telling you about asexuality? Just think about it. And think about it in this idea, from this aspect. You tell 10 people about asexuality. Some of them brush it off, some of them think it's silly, but it sticks with 2 people out of those 10 people. It kind of sticks with 2 people. And they each mention it to 10 other people. And the same thing. Out of the 10 people, we now have 20. 2 people in each group's 4. Then they tell 10 people. 2 out of each of those. Think about how it can spread. That's the power of word of mouth right there. And so there you have it. That's, I guess, really all I have to talk about on the subject this week. Word of mouth when it comes to visibility, or visibility, word of mouth. Word of mouth visibility. Can I get a what? Oh, wow. Also, before I go, next week is a freebie week. I would love it if you guys had any questions for me, to just submit them in a comment or message my personal YouTube account, which is GoAlleyGoGo. I'll spell that down here. And it's also my Ava name if you want to send me a PM there. With any questions you might have, I'd love to answer your questions on air. Or if you're not feeling a question, if you want maybe a topic for me to consider, because I don't know if anybody's going to ask me questions. So if you have a topic you want me to tackle, I am at your disposal. Oh, that does not sound good. Oh dear.